Now, before we tell you about that new way of giving birth in Ghana, let's take you live to Parliament because the sitting of the Public Accounts Committee continues today. Some state institutions in the energy sector are expected to answer questions as the committee bordering on their operations. Let's go live and speak with Joy News' Beatrice Edu to bring us up to speed on what to expect at the committee hearing today. Beatrice, welcome. If you can hear me, which are the institutions we are to expect at the hearing today?
All right, Daniel, we were told earlier, like you rightly said, that the institution from the energy sector would be coming. But what I've been told, I was actually told some minutes ago, is that for today, representatives from the Bank of Ghana, the central bank, are to appear, preferably the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, to answer questions on the Auditor General's report on receipts receipts and payments of forex, Ghana's forex inflows and outflows. And basically, when you're talking about inflows and outflows, you're talking about how much Ghana paid in terms of foreign currency to get some imports, and also how much Ghana received in terms of foreign currency for what we have. And I have here with me the MP for Kumungo, Honorable Ras Mubarak, to tell us more as regards what we are to see today. We already know that the sitting begins at 11 a.m. today, and we'll have the representatives from the central bank giving us information. But already, before I engage Honorable Ras Mubarak, I've had the opportunity to go through the Auditor General's report regarding the receipts and payments of the forex inflows and outflows. And you realize that for the inflows, for instance, the country reduced the inflows of over $2 million as compared to over $3 million, which was in 2015. You're looking at a report from January of 2016 to the 30th of June 2016. And for the outflows, again, the country also reduced it from over $4 million US dollars to over $2 million US dollars. And this is quite interesting, and particularly because you're looking at a country that says that the economy is not so good. So we don't want to spend a lot of our foreign currency importing a lot of things. But before we go on with the details, which will be reviewed after 11 a.m. when the members of the Public Accounts Committee sits, let's engage Honorable Ras Mubarak, who is the MP for Kumungo. Like I just said, hello, good morning to you, sir.
Hi, good morning, and good to see you.
Thank you for joining us on Joy News.
Thank you. So certainly this is day 2 of a series of meetings we holding with heads of agencies, and as you may be aware, this is in conformity to Article, first of all, the Auditor General writes his reports in conformity with Article 84(3) of the 1992 Constitution, and then submits his report to the Speaker of Parliament, who then refers the report to the Public Accounts Committee. So we'll be sitting for 2 weeks, and FDA was here yesterday. Today we're looking at the Bank of Ghana, and we're looking at foreign exchange receipts and payments for the half year June 2016. And to take it up from where you left off, there may be a raft of reasons that explains why inflows are high or outflows are lower. And for some of those reasons, it could be that we did not get a lot from, the sale of cocoa, from the sale of minerals, and so we didn't have much coming in. But don't also forget that we've had issues with payments of students who are the tuition fees of students who are studying abroad, contractors and so on and so forth. So it depends on how much government may have budgeted to pay contractors, say, in a year. And that could determine how much goes out. And world market would also determine how much inflows come into the country. But whenever the Bank of Ghana is appearing before the Public Accounts Committee, it promises to be very exciting, because you don't expect the Bank of Ghana to get things wrong, even though it is a human institution. But it promises to be a very exciting encounter with the BOJ.
Indeed, and we've spoken about the fact that these officials would come to explain to us why, for instance, like I was saying earlier, the outflows reduced in terms of how much we gave to get some imports into the country. And I was saying earlier that, yes, I've looked at the executive summary, but you've gone through this report. Apart from the scholarship thing that you're talking about, what do you think could be the reason why we've had, you know, this huge reduction from over $2 million to, you know, from over $4 million to over $2 million just from 2015 to 2016?
Well, from the explanation of the Bank of Ghana, you would, and because you're a newscaster, you would know that the world had gone through some amount of recession. There's a global meltdown, you know, that has resulted in a drop in the prices of commodity on the international market, you know, so we are not getting as much as we expected to get from gold and bauxite and other minerals, including cocoa and so on and so forth. You know, the concern for me from the report is the extent of money that we tend to pay foreign contractors, because one of the challenges facing our country is the issue of capital flight. You realize that there's a lot of money in the system, but you know, you don't see where the money goes. You know, the monies are actually, or the resources are actually going to foreign contractors. So it would be exciting to have a dialogue, you know, that puts the interests of the Ghanaian contractor at the centerpiece of our engagement. And for me, that is where ultimately the focus would be. But aside these issues, which sometimes are not even under the control of state governments, there are a couple of issues that the Auditor General raised, which would definitely come up in terms of underreporting of some of the receipts. And it will be interesting to find out from the Bank of Ghana why we had instances of underreporting, because once you underreport, it affects your entire report. And we are certainly looking forward to it.
Definitely, and so we'll be having, like we've explained, we'll be having the representatives from the central bank telling us, and the governor, okay, Dr. Ernest Addison, explaining why we have the figures we do have in the Auditor General's report. And just stay glued to Joy News. Thank you very much once again, Honorable Ras Mubarak.
Right, thank you, Beatrice Edu, for that report. Like Beatrice said, you can stay tuned to Joy News for that live coverage from Parliament.